Buenas and half a day, everyone. The Committee on Education will now convene this virtual confirmation hearing. The time now is 4:01 p.m. and today's date is February 11, 2022, Friday. For the record and in accordance with the open government law, public notices were sent out via email to all senators, stakeholders, and main media broadcasting outlets on Friday, February 4th, 2022, and the second notice on Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. Notice of today's hearing was also available on the Guam legislature's website. Joining me today for this confirmation hearing is Senator Tello Taidagui. Sidios Masi, Senator, for being here. And in attendance, we have the nominee, Alexander Duenas, Grace Lujan from the GACS Council, Jane De Guzman from CIFA, and also Andrew Duenas. Welcome, everyone. Before you proceed, the legislature has general rules of conduct that must be followed. The host of this hearing will mute participants until called upon by the chair. When called to speak, please ensure that you are unmuted and that you are speaking into your microphone. Members of the committee wishing to speak may indicate via the in-app feature chat box. Individuals testify shall first be recognized by the chair before speaking and shall state their name for the record. The order of questioning will begin with the panel of senators who will complete their lines of questioning before the chair. Each member will be allowed to pose a question to an individual testifying for a round and will be provided an additional round if needed. I think it's only Senator Taidagui and I, so we should be pretty quick. Questions and testimonies shall be confined to the substance and nature of the agenda. Personal inference to the character or the motive of any senator or any individual testifying is not permitted. Any violations of this general rule of conduct will result in removal from the hearing by the host. We've called this virtual confirmation hearing today to provide the listening audience with a discussion on the appointment of Mr. Alexander M. Duenas to serve as a member accounting finance representative to the Guam Academy Charter School Council. Alexander M. Duenas is nominated to serve as member of the Guam Academy Charter School Council for a 3-year term from August 20, 2020 to August 19th, 2023. Pursuant to 17 GCA Chapter 12, the council was established to act as the authorizing entity for Academy Charter School applicants and existing Academy Charter Schools. The council monitors the operations of the Academy Charter Schools and ensures that each Academy Charter School complies with the applicable laws and the provisions of the charter granted to each school, and that annual reporting requirements are met. Additionally, the council monitors the progress of each school in meeting student academic achievement expectations specified in the school's charter. I would now like to invite those who have signed up to testify to begin. We'll begin with Jane De Guzman from CIFA.
Hello, good afternoon. Actually, it's our OIC, Dr. Anthony J. Sunga, who will be testifying. So we're just going to switch seats real quick.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sunga.
Good afternoon, honorable senators, chairperson. Thank you for allowing us to speak on behalf of Alexander Duenas, CIFA. We'd like to offer our testimony in favor of his appointment. We believe that his background and career passion for not just finances, but we know that he has also a passion for teachers, and so we believe that his background and his involvement in the charter school would help and support not just CIFA, but the charter school itself in doing the things that we need to do to not just survive, but strive and succeed. So I'd like to offer our support for his appointment and hope that you favor in terms of voting him into the Charter Council. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunga. I'd like to invite Grace Lujan to provide testimony. Please state your name for the record.
Half a day, this is Grace Lujan in support of Guam Academy Charter School Council Board. I'm also, sorry, I am also being here for Madam Banji, Chairwoman Banji Cepeda. We are for supporting Mr. Alexander Duenas to join us. We are very grateful during this time to have an additional member added on to the council. And we're looking forward to working with Member Council Alexander Duenas.
Thank you very much, Ms. Grace Rios Lujan from the GACS Council. I'd now like to recognize, thank you very much, Senator Joanne Brown, for joining us this afternoon, and invite Ms. Faye Ovalis to provide testimony. Please state your name for the record.
Senators, good afternoon. We're here to virtually witness the confirmation hearing of Mr. Alexander Duenas. We look forward
I'm sorry.
to.
Faye, can you please turn on your camera?
All right, where am I now? Sorry, Senator. Oh, sorry. Got covered. Thank you. Good afternoon, Senators. My name is Faye Valencia Ovalis. I am currently the chairwoman of the Guam Academy Charter School. And we're here to virtually support the nomination of Mr. Alexander Duenas as part of the GACS Council. We look forward into working with him to further see all the good things that will happen to all the charter schools on Guam. Thank you, Senators. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ovalis. Now I'd like to invite the nominee, Mr. Alexander M. Duenas, to provide testimony. Please begin by stating your name for the record.
Good afternoon, everybody. Senator Shelton, Senator Brown, Senator Taitui, and all others in attendance. My name is Alexander Duenas. And
yes, please proceed.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to present and to be able to be nominated to this council. Just a little bit of background about myself. I was born and raised in Guam. I was a public school student throughout practically my entire life. I attended the University of Guam, where I majored in accounting and economics, and eventually got a job at the American Medical Center, where I started off as an accountant and became the accounting manager in time. Afterwards, I was going through this phase where I needed to expand past accounting, and I eventually got a job over at ANZ Bank, where I worked within the commercial banking department. And just a bit of what I feel about education in general is that I've always had a passion for it. Education, both of my parents are educators, so topics within education are always at the forefront, they're always at the dinner table. And I'm very excited to be able to work with a bunch of very motivated and very optimistic individuals. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Duenas. Now open the floor to my colleagues for questions, beginning with Senator Taitui.
Madam Chair, and off a day, Alex, is it okay to call you Alex or Mr. Duenas?
Alex is perfectly fine.
Okay, I look at you, you're so young, you know, and then I'm like, you look like an Alex, not an Alexander at this point, but I don't doubt your ability. I mean, anyone graduating from GW rules is good in my book, right? But first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for stepping up to the plate. I mean, as a young individual, I'm sure there's a lot of things you can be doing, you know, and hanging out with friends and, you know, doing some fun things. Usually boards and commissions are, you know, for someone who later on in life, they have some extra time. But, and that's why I think it's, you know, it's quite impressive that you want to do it at this young age to work on something as important as the charter schools. The position has had a lot of scrutiny in the past with regards to funding, most especially, and I'm glad to hear that you have this under your belt. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you're taking the position of the finance part. I don't have your I'm not mistaken, accounting, finance representative. So you're in the perfect place for this. I've made it a point to read the OPA's reports that comes out, especially for the schools. That's how we basically find out what's going on and how the money is being spent that we appropriate as a legislature. So I hope you do that as well. In fact, you might need some catching up, in the last couple of years, what's been going on in these schools, these charter schools, and the reports coming from the OPA. So that will probably give is a great way to catch up, number one. But other than finance, I mean, you said you wanted to get out from accounting and stuff and move into something different. Other than your experience in finances, of course, currently you're working at a bank. What else would you like to contribute to this council? What would you like to see personally?
Well, what I would like to see this basically thrive. And the reason why I want this to thrive is because I think that it provides a very different mode of learning from what's typically found within traditional schools. It's something that I think that would need to go through, and what I can provide that's different or bring to the table, so to say, that would be different from my accounting and finance background, is that I'm privy to a lot of issues that may be present within an educational or learning environment that by virtue of just being around my family so much. And although I'm not a curriculum expert, so to say, I think that in addition to the finance and accounting perspective, as well as something with education, I think I could provide some additional management background. I mean, it's just more structural and more, or I would say, organizational leadership background, behavior, things of that nature.
Great, that's great to hear, because I'm one of the greatest fans for charter schools. I think that they're producing great test scores, much higher than our public school today. So yeah, it's a different type of education that's actually working, with these students. So, and we're finding out that many parents are pulling out their children from even private schools and putting them into charter schools. So it's definitely growing, and I hope that you can contribute to that growth in a positive way. And I wish you the very best. So other than that, thank you for answering that question. It says a lot about you, and I wish you the very best. My door is always open, Alex. So if there's anything I can do to help you do what you're going to be doing, please feel free to knock on my door anytime. Okay. Thank you, Madam
Thank you
Chair.
very much. Thank you very
Thank you.
much, Senator Chaidagui. Senator Brown, do you have any questions?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Well, certainly impressive in looking at your application here that you submitted with regards to this position here on the Guam Academy of Charter Schools, and certainly appreciate your interest in wanting to serve. I did want to ask you, in terms of your desire to serve here, how do you see yourself directly contributing? I mean, I see you're being put forth to filling the accounting and finance representative position. What would you be looking for, once your confirmation is addressed to serve? Because ultimately, when we created the charter schools, we certainly wanted to see an alternative of education that could be more creative and innovative than our current Department of Education, and hopefully be able to do it for even less than what it's currently costing to run the department. So we're very open to that. But at the same time, we want to make sure that the resources of our people that are invested in the charter schools are being properly spent, and that there's accountability in that process. So certainly with your background, I just wanted to get your thoughts on how you think you contribute to ensuring more accountability with regards to how the funds are used and administered within our charter schools on the island.
Thanks, Senator, for the question. When I'm looking at, I looked at some of the preliminary reports when it comes to the charter schools and I looked at the finances to see how they're going. This is just based just on the auditor's report, nothing really too detailed. But when we're looking at these with the schools, I mean, we're not looking for profitability, so to say, but we're just looking that the funds are allocated accordingly and they're used properly to be able to facilitate the education that we're looking for, right? To be able to say that the kids are getting the proper education and the government's funds are not going to waste, so to say. When I'm looking at some of these things, what I would definitely like to examine would be definitely these contracts. Some of the contracts that I'm looking at, it's, when I'm looking at things from an organizational aspect, I'm looking at it and thinking, okay, first of all, is there a need? Is the need warranted? And does it make sense? That's basically probably the first thing that I would definitely like to look at, and to see if that is something that is going to be able to contribute to the viability of these schools, and to ensure that not only that the kids are getting the appropriate resources and that the people's resources are being spent appropriately, but does it make sense? And that is basically what I would be looking at, and that's what I would like to contribute from the very beginning. Naturally, as we go or confirmed into this position, we'll be going down the road and seeing exactly where the things can be fixed here and there. But for the most part, outside of looking at these higher level reports that give us the broadest perspective of how the organization is running, I don't know right now. But definitely based on what I'm looking at in the beginning, that is where I would absolutely be looking.
Would you be able, I know you're going to be sitting, as a member of the board there, but would you be able to, when we do have our budget hearings for the charter schools, would you be able to sit in and participate and certainly give us your insight once you've had an opportunity? And granted, of course, you would just be starting, but give us your feedback with regards to any questions the legislature may have with how the funds are being administered. Certainly with your background, that would be beneficial, aside from just hearing from each representative from each school, which is what normally happens during the budget process. Is that something you would be able to participate in?
I would absolutely love to participate in that. I really love budgets. Budgets are my thing.
I just think, I mean, I think it's a positive. I mean, just looking at your background, I mean, such a young age to go from, I mean, this is only your second job listed here that you're currently doing with ANZ. But just your energy certainly would be beneficial. And again, it gives another layer of perspective rather than, each of the charter schools representing their own agenda and their budget. It would also be good from your respective position and overseeing, which essentially what the board will do, what you will do in your financial capacities, oversee also, because I love the check and balance. I think there's a need for that in government. I mean, we're providing a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of power that we are been entrusted with on behalf of our people. But I also want to make sure that, things are being done properly and that money's being expended properly, because there's so much opportunity for public officials at all levels to misuse that, unfortunately, including those that are receiving public funds. And I think when the check and balance is there, when the right questions are being asked, and hopefully, prevent anybody from going down the wrong road in the first place, so that, even if they're thinking about it, hey, this is not the right way to do it, let's do it this way, and keep ourselves all out of trouble. So I would look forward to that. You certainly have my support, Mr. Duenas. It's always nice to see young up and coming people like you in our community who have an interest in public service, because there's definitely a need for that. And I look forward, when they do have their budget hearings, to hearing your input and your feedback once you've had an opportunity, obviously, to serve and review these issues, and not just bring it to our attention, but the public attention. If there's improvements that can be made, we certainly would look forward to your input with regards to that. So other than that, Madam Chair, and certainly Mr. Duenas, thank you very much for the opportunity to ask these questions and hear Mr. Duenas's response. For that, thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Brown. Thank you. Mr. Duenas, it sounds like you have a very good resume that we have in our packet in front of us. You have the experience to be the finance representative on the charter school board. This is a time-consuming position, and there have been issues in the past with the charter school board meeting quorum. Are you available to put the time into these meetings and work sessions?
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
Alrighty, good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. We do need people who are dedicated. As you know, it's not It's not a glamorous position to be in. It's a lot of hard work, and of course, to serve the students of our island, to give them the best possible education that we can with the resources that we have. So I appreciate your answers about using the public money in the most efficient and responsible way. Thank you for that. And with that, with no more questions from anyone here from our senators, we will continue to accept testimony on your nomination to the office of Senator Telena Cruz Nelson, Suite 202A, 173 Aspinall Avenue, Hagåtña, Guam 96910. Or you may email your testimony to Senator T.C. Nelson at guamlegislature.org. A recording of today's hearing will be available on YouTube at the Guam Legislature's channel. This concludes the hearing. The time now is 4:22 p.m. and the nomination of Mr. Alexander M. Duenas to serve as Accounting Finance Representative, Guam Academy Charter School Council has been duly heard. Siduos Masi, everyone. Please be safe and have a good weekend. Thank you.
Bye.